There have been numerous noteworthy events in the National Football League's history, including remarkable trick shots and memorable moments on the field, like Joe Montana's ball to Dwight Clark in the 1982 Super Bowl, or the legendary helmet catch in the Super Bowl between the New York Giants and the New England Patriots. Keep an eye out for the most crazy and memorable trick shots and moments in NFL history in today's video. Bills complete greatest comeback win in NFL history. On January 3, 1993, Frank Reich, the king of football comebacks, led the Buffalo Bills to an incredible comeback victory over the Houston Oilers in a wild card playoff game. Reich rallied the Bills from a 32-point deficit in the third quarter to take a 38-35 lead into the fourth quarter, only for the Oilers to rally and tie the game before the end of the regulation. Bills defender Henry Jones intercepted a pass from Warren Moon in overtime, putting the Bills in field goal range. The Bills won 41-38 in overtime after Steve Christie kicked the game-winning field goal. They went on to Super Bowl 27, where they were defeated 52-17 by the Dallas Cowboys. The Oilers fired both defensive coordinator Jim Eddy and defensive backs coach Pat Thomas the day after the game. Buddy Ryan was brought in to replace Eddy. Reich orchestrated a similar remarkable comeback against the University of Miami in 1984 while at the University of Maryland. Maryland was down 31-0 at halftime, but Reich led his team to a 42-40 victory with a strong second half. The Music City Miracle. The Tennessee Titans faced the Buffalo Bills in an AFC wildcard game in Nashville on January 8, 2000. Bills kicker Steve Christie hit a 41-yard field goal with 16 seconds left in the game to give Buffalo a 16-15 lead. Lorenzo Neal caught the subsequent kickoff and gave it off to tight end Frank Wycheck, who whirled and fired a lateral pass across the field to receiver Kevin Dyson. Dyson rushed along the sideline for a 75-yard touchdown run past the Bills' defense. Officials scrutinized the play to see if the lateral was, in fact, a backwards pass. The decision would stand, even if some people disagree with it to this day. The play, dubbed the Music City Miracle, handed the Titans their first playoff victory since 1991 and closed off one of the most thrilling NFL playoff finishes ever. Such a thrilling and intense game left the audience on the edge of their seats for most of the game, till the very end when the Titans came out on top. The perfect Dolphins. The 1972 Miami Dolphins, led by great coach Don Shula, accomplished a feat that no team had been able to repeat since. They won the Super Bowl after going unbeaten for the entire season. The Dolphins won all three of their postseason games, including Super Bowl VII against the Washington Redskins after finishing 14-0 during the regular season. Bob Grease and Earl Morrell were the Dolphins' quarterbacks during this memorable season. The latter replaced the former after a midseason injury. The Dolphins were led on the ground by running backs Larry Zonka and Mercury Morris, who became the first teammates to rush for 1,000 yards in the same season. On the other side of the ball, Miami's defensive squad earned the nickname No Name Defense since the offense received the most attention. Regardless of the label or lack thereof, the Miami defense that year was the finest in the league. While several teams have come close, no one has yet to match the success of the 1972 Dolphins. The greatest game ever played. Professional football was beginning to acquire traction in the late 1950s, and much of this heightened interest can be traced back to a single game. The Baltimore Colts faced the New York Giants in the NFL Championship game on December 28, 1958. After a back-and-forth game throughout regulation, Johnny Unitas led the Colts on an 86-yard game-tying drive towards the conclusion of regulation, sending the game to overtime. The Colts eventually won 23-17, making it the first time in NFL history that a championship game was decided in sudden death. Historians will point out that the game's overall sloppiness, 6 lost fumbles, missed field goals, interceptions, and conservative play calling, but the game will go down in history as the greatest game ever played, in part because of the impact it had on the popularity of football on television and the growth of the NFL. 1 yard short. On January 30th, 2000, in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, the St. Louis Rams faced the Tennessee Titans in Super Bowl 34. Despite the presence of two strong offenses, the first half of the game was primarily a defensive fight, with the Rams leading 9-0 at the halftime. Following a 16-0 second half lead by the Rams, the Titans replied with 16 straight points to tie the game with 2 minutes 12 seconds remaining in regulation. To reclaim the lead, Rams quarterback quarterback Kurt Warner threw a 73-yard touchdown throw to wide receiver Isaac Bruce. With just 6 seconds left, the Titans drove down the field to the St. Louis 10-yard line. Tennessee receiver Kevin Dyson was tackled 1 yard short of the end zone on the game's final play, preventing him from scoring a game-tying touchdown. The Rams would win 23-16, and their play would become known as 1 yard short, or simply the tackle in NFL lore. Now that we've discussed some of the greatest NFL moments in history, let's delve into those superstar moments we've mentioned in the beginning of the video, like Joe Montana's ball to Dwight Clark and his memorable super catch, or the game where people refer to it as the helmet catch in the 2008 Super Bowl. Stay tuned to the video to find out all the details regarding these insane and memorable catches in NFL games. The memorable catch. The catch refers to Joe Montana's ball to Dwight Clark at the back of the end zone in Super Bowl 23. It was the NFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys on January 10, 1982. In the waning minutes of the game, the Cowboys were clinging to a 27-21 lead, knowing that Joe Montana and the 49ers would have to drive 89 yards to score the game-winning touchdown with barely 58 seconds left in the game. Montana confidently marched the 49ers down the field to the Cowboys' 6-yard line. Montana wanted to fit Freddie Solomon on 3rd and 3, but he was too well covered, so Montana had to scramble to dodge the Cowboys' pass rush and hunt for another option. Dwight Clark was making his way back to the end zone of the field. Montana threw a pass that only Clark could have a chance to grab. Clark sprang as high as he could and just made it in time to catch the game-winning touchdown pass. From then, the 49ers went on to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 16. The helmet catch. Football fans witnessed one of the greatest Super Bowl plays in history on February 3rd, 2008. In the final minutes of Super Bowl 42, with 2 minutes 42 minutes remaining in the game, the unbeaten and greatly favored New England Patriots had scored to take a 14-10 lead. The Giants attempted to respond with their own drive, but were stymied at their own 44-yard line. Facing 3rd and 5 with 1 minute 15 seconds left, Giants quarterback Eli Manning eluded 3 defensive players on the next play, firing a pass downfield that was grabbed by wide receiver David Tyree. Wasn't just any catch either. Tyree grabbed the ball by leaping into the air and slamming it against his helmet. The play was a 32-yard gain that set up the game-winning touchdown as the Giants defeated the Patriots 17-14, ending New England's playoff aspirations. I bet Tyree was glad to be wearing a helmet as it braced his catch. Not sure a ball to the head would be the most comfortable way to catch a ball coming at full speed. So really, the helmet saved the day in 2 ways. A wide right. Football is a game of inches, and Super Bowl 25 proved that more than ever. The Buffalo Bills and the New York Giants met on January 27, 1991, in a game that would be remembered more for Whitney Houston's pre-game rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner than for the events that occurred at the end of the game. Bills quarterback Jim Kelly led the team down the field with a mix of scrambles, short passes, and runs with just over 2 minutes to play and a 20-19 deficit, eventually getting the Bills to the Giants' 29-yard line, barely inside field goal range with 8 seconds to go. Scott Norwood attempted a game-winning 47-yard field goal, but his kick sailed wide right, missing the goalpost by less than a yard. The game was the first, and so far only, Super Bowl game decided by a single score that marked the start of the Bills' 4-game Super Bowl losing skid. There you have it, a roundup of the most memorable and insane NFL moments. The NFL has been around for decades now, so it's not surprising that there have been many amazing moments over the years with the players and their outstanding catches, throws, and runs. Let us know down below in the comments the memorable moment you thought was the coolest and why. Thanks for watching today's video.